activity to produce the best energy worldwide. Delivering energy evenly to cities, to remote frontiers, so that everyone can use the energy and move forward together. Various initiatives are taken in developing renewable energy, such as geothermal, solar cell, biofuel, lithium battery, and even electricity. Together with its affiliates, Pertamina is committed to achieve energy sustainability, fuel the economy, and build the future. Pertamina ensures that energy is also available for the environment, education, healthcare, and community empowerment. Pertamina believes that every continuous innovation is the energy to step forward. Pertamina is the energy, driving force of progress for every part of life.
Jika ada yang bilang kamu tidak mampu berdiri, jawablah dengan menunjukkannya cara berlari. Bertumpu pada kedua kaki sendiri. Lalu mengayunkannya dengan percaya diri. Kau harus percaya bahwa setiap perjalanan selalu memiliki arti. Setiap halangan adalah pengokoh keteguhan diri. Setiap batu adalah pijakan menuju tempat yang lebih tinggi. Dan setiap batas hadir untuk dilintasi. Sejak BRI berdiri, menjadi kaki bagi orang-orang yang ingin menembus batas diri. Tak henti melampaui diri, dari dulu, kini dan nanti.
Institute for Advanced Science, Social and Sustainable Future atau IAS adalah bagian dari PT Kia Cendikia Alami yang didirikan pada tahun 2022. Kami adalah lembaga yang berkomitmen untuk mempromosikan keberlanjutan lingkungan melalui karya ilmiah akademik serta praktik non-akademik terbaik. IAS diinisiasi oleh para ahli di bidang lingkungan sosial dan studi keberlanjutan yang bertujuan untuk menciptakan iklim akademik yang lebih baik. Morality before knowledge. Kami percaya bahwa niat baik harus dilaksanakan sesuai dengan langkah-langkah yang benar. Karena niat baik saja tidak cukup untuk membuatnya benar. Oleh karena itu, kami akan memastikan bahwa setiap langkah yang diambil untuk mencapai tujuan akan melalui tahapan etis yang tepat, mematuhi etika yang berlaku sepanjang perjalanan. Menjadi perusahaan yang profesional dan kompeten yang tentunya berkontribusi signifikan terhadap peningkatan kualitas penelitian dan pengetahuan manusia berdasarkan moralitas, sains, dan kebijaksanaan. Menyediakan layanan akademik yang berkualitas, praktis, dan dapat diandalkan bagi komunitas ilmiah yang didukung oleh personel manajemen yang profesional dan berdedikasi. Mempromosikan budaya akademik yang lebih baik melalui standar publikasi ilmiah yang terjamin. Membangun ekosistem kerja yang etis, dapat diandalkan, dan tangguh.
Kami, Institute for Advanced Science, Social and Sustainable Future atau IAS, hadir untuk meningkatkan kualitas penelitian dan pengetahuan berdasarkan moralitas, sains, dan kearifan. IAS diprakarsai oleh para ahli lingkungan, sosial, dan studi berkelanjutan. Kami berkomitmen untuk mendorong keberlanjutan melalui karya ilmiah akademik. Kami memberikan pelayanan dalam bidang publikasi ilmiah, penelitian, seminar, dan produk akademik lainnya. Saat ini, kami telah mengelola 90 jurnal dan akan terus bertambah dan berkembang. Melalui Morality Before Knowledge, Mari bersama kami memajukan masa depan ilmiah yang berkelanjutan dengan prinsip etika yang benar.
Healthy greetings to all participants. The Journal of Environmental Science and Sustainable Development, University of Indonesia is a biannual peer-reviewed journal that provides an important platform for academic, policymakers, practitioners, and community representatives to examine, exchange, and reflect on a wide range of issues related to environmental science and sustainable development, particularly in developing countries. It is my great pleasure to extend heartfelt congratulations on the convening of the JESSD International Symposium 2025, which brings together more than 1,000 participants from 15 countries on November 7 to 8, 2025. As Governor of North Maluku, I'm Shirley Laos, commend this initiative for fostering collaboration, advancing scientific discourse, and strengthening our shared commitment to a more sustainable and resilient world. I wish the symposium great success and fruitful discussion that contribute meaningfully to global and regional environmental solutions. Thank you.
As we enter a decade of decisive action for climate, nature, and people, the global community is coming together to respond to this crucial challenge. And Indonesia is playing a pivotal role. April Group, a leading producer of bio-based renewable products, is taking an active part in this global movement. This is April 2030.
April 2030 is our commitment to deliver a positive impact on climate, nature, and people while growing as a sustainable producer of fiber and pulp-based products. By 2030, we will achieve net zero carbon emissions from all our land use, positive and measurable gains in nature, and zero extreme poverty in our communities, and positioning our business for sustainable growth for the next 10 years.
Indonesia is abundant with energy, which is produced from various sources in various forms and is continuously moving the dynamics of every life every day. Pertamina has continued to be the leader for more than 6 decades, with commitments to perpetually innovate in bringing energy to life, consistently giving the most in every exploration, production, and other business activity to produce the best energy worldwide. Delivering energy evenly to cities, to remote frontiers, so that everyone can use the energy and move forward together. Various initiatives are taken in developing renewable energy, such as geothermal, solar cell, biofuel, lithium battery, and even electricity. Together with its affiliates, Pertamina is committed to achieve energy sustainability, fuel the economy, and build the future. Pertamina ensures that energy is also available for the environment, education, healthcare, and community empowerment. Pertamina believes that every continuous innovation is the energy to step forward. Pertamina is the energy, driving force of progress for every part of life.
Jika ada yang bilang kamu tidak mampu berdiri, jawablah dengan menunjukkannya cara berlari. Bertumpu pada kedua kaki sendiri. Lalu mengayunkannya dengan percaya diri. Kau harus percaya bahwa setiap perjalanan selalu memiliki arti. Setiap halangan adalah pengokoh keteguhan diri. Setiap batu adalah pijakan menuju tempat yang lebih tinggi. dan setiap batas hadir untuk dilintasi. Sejak BRI berdiri, menjadi kaki bagi orang-orang yang ingin menembus batas diri. Tak henti melampaui diri, dari dulu, kini dan nanti.
Healthy greetings to all participants. The Journal of Environmental Science and Sustainable Development, University of Indonesia is a biannual peer-reviewed journal that provides an important platform for academic, policymakers, practitioners, and community representatives to examine, exchange, and reflect on a wide range of issues related to environmental science and sustainable development, particularly in developing countries. It is my great pleasure to extend heartfelt congratulations on the convening of the JESSD International Symposium 2025, which brings together more than 1,000 participants from 15 countries on November 7 to 8, 2025. As Governor of North Maluku, I'm Shirley Laos, commend this initiative for fostering collaboration, advancing scientific discourse, and strengthening our shared commitment to a more sustainable and resilient world. I wish the symposium great success and fruitful discussion that contribute meaningfully to global and regional environmental solutions. Thank you.
As we enter a decade of decisive action for climate, nature, and people, the global community is coming together to respond to this crucial challenge. And Indonesia is playing a pivotal role. April Group, a leading producer of bio-based renewable products, is taking an active part in this global movement. This is April 2030.
April 2030 is our commitment to deliver a positive impact on climate, nature, and people while growing as a sustainable producer of fiber and pulp-based products. By 2030, we will achieve net zero carbon emissions from all our land use, positive and measurable gains in nature, and zero extreme poverty in our communities, and positioning our business for sustainable growth for the next 10 years.
Indonesia is abundant with energy, which is produced from various sources in various forms and is continuously moving the dynamics of every life, every day. Pertamina has continued to be the leader for more than 6 decades, with commitments to perpetually innovate in bringing energy to life. Consistently giving the most in every exploration, production, and other business activity to produce the best energy worldwide. Delivering energy evenly to cities, to remote frontiers, so that everyone can use the energy and move forward together. Various initiatives are taken in developing renewable energy, such as geothermal, solar cell, biofuel, lithium battery, and even electricity. Together with its affiliates, Pertamina is committed to achieve energy sustainability, fuel the economy, and build the future. Pertamina ensures that energy is also available for the environment, education, healthcare, and community empowerment. Pertamina believes that every continuous innovation is the energy to step forward. Pertamina is the energy, driving force of progress for every part of life.
Jika ada yang bilang kamu tidak mampu berdiri, jawablah dengan menunjukkannya cara berlari. Bertumpu pada kedua kaki sendiri. Lalu mengayunkannya dengan percaya diri. Kau harus percaya bahwa setiap perjalanan selalu memiliki arti. Setiap halangan adalah pengokoh keteguhan diri. Setiap batu adalah pijakan menuju tempat yang lebih tinggi. Dan setiap batas hadir untuk dilintasi. Sejak BRI berdiri, menjadi kaki bagi orang-orang yang ingin menembus batas diri. Tak henti melampaui diri, dari dulu, kini dan nanti.
Institute for Advanced Science, Social and Sustainable Future atau IAS adalah bagian dari PT Kiat Cendikia Alami yang didirikan pada tahun 2022. Kami adalah lembaga yang berkomitmen untuk mempromosikan keberlanjutan lingkungan melalui karya ilmiah akademik serta praktik non-akademik terbaik. IAS diinisiasi oleh para ahli di bidang lingkungan sosial dan studi keberlanjutan yang bertujuan untuk menciptakan iklim akademik yang lebih baik. Morality before knowledge. Kami percaya bahwa niat baik harus dilaksanakan sesuai dengan langkah-langkah yang benar, karena niat baik saja tidak cukup untuk membuatnya benar. Oleh karena itu, kami akan memastikan bahwa setiap langkah yang diambil untuk mencapai tujuan akan melalui tahapan etis yang tepat, mematuhi etika yang berlaku sepanjang perjalanan. Menjadi perusahaan yang profesional dan kompeten yang tentunya berkontribusi signifikan terhadap peningkatan kualitas penelitian dan pengetahuan manusia berdasarkan moralitas, sains, dan kebijaksanaan. Menyediakan layanan akademik yang berkualitas, praktis, dan dapat diandalkan bagi komunitas ilmiah yang didukung oleh personel manajemen yang profesional dan berdedikasi. Mempromosikan budaya akademik yang lebih baik melalui standar publikasi ilmiah yang terjamin. Membangun ekosistem kerja yang etis, dapat diandalkan, dan tangguh.
Kami, Institute for Advanced Science, Social and Sustainable Future atau IAS, hadir untuk meningkatkan kualitas penelitian dan pengetahuan berdasarkan moralitas, sains, dan kearifan. IAS diprakarsai oleh para ahli lingkungan, sosial, dan studi berkelanjutan. Kami berkomitmen untuk mendorong keberlanjutan melalui karya ilmiah akademik. Kami memberikan pelayanan dalam bidang publikasi ilmiah, penelitian, seminar, dan produk akademik lainnya. Saat ini, kami telah mengelola 90 jurnal dan akan terus bertambah dan berkembang. Melalui Morality Before Knowledge, mari bersama kami memajukan masa depan ilmiah yang berkelanjutan dengan prinsip etika yang benar.
Healthy greetings to all participants. The Journal of Environmental Science and Sustainable Development, University of Indonesia is a biannual peer-reviewed journal that provides an important platform for academic, policymakers, practitioners, and community representatives to examine, exchange, and reflect on a wide range of issues related to environmental science and sustainable development, particularly in developing countries. It is my great pleasure to extend heartfelt congratulations on the convening of the JESSD International Symposium 2025, which brings together more than 1,000 participants from 15 countries on November 7 to 8, 2025. As Governor of North Maluku, I'm Shirley Laos, commend this initiative for fostering collaboration, advancing scientific discourse, and strengthening our shared commitment to a more sustainable and resilient world. I wish the symposium great success and fruitful discussion that contribute meaningfully to global and regional environmental solutions. Thank you.
As we enter a decade of decisive action for climate, nature, and people, the global community is coming together to respond to this crucial challenge. And Indonesia is playing a pivotal role. April Group, a leading producer of bio-based renewable products, is taking an active part in this global movement. This is April 2030.
April 2030 is our commitment to deliver a positive impact on climate, nature, and people while growing as a sustainable producer of fiber and pulp-based products. By 2030, we will achieve net zero carbon emissions from all our land use, positive and measurable gains in nature, and zero extreme poverty in our communities, and positioning our business for sustainable growth for the next 10 years.
Indonesia is abundant with energy, which is produced from various sources in various forms and is continuously moving the dynamics of every life, every day. Pertamina has continued to be the leader for more than 6 decades, with commitments to perpetually innovate in bringing energy to life. Consistently giving the most in every exploration, production, and other business activity to produce the best energy worldwide. Delivering energy evenly to cities, to remote frontiers, so that everyone can use the energy and move forward together. Various initiatives are taken in developing renewable energy, such as geothermal, solar cell, biofuel, lithium battery, and even electricity. Together with its affiliates, Pertamina is committed to achieve energy sustainability, fuel the economy, and build the future. Pertamina ensures that energy is also available for the environment, education, healthcare, and community empowerment. Pertamina believes that every continuous innovation is the energy to step forward. Pertamina is the energy, driving force of progress for every part of life.
Jika ada yang bilang kamu tidak mampu berdiri, jawablah dengan menunjukkannya cara berlari. Bertumpu pada kedua kaki sendiri. Lalu mengayunkannya dengan percaya diri. Kau harus percaya bahwa setiap perjalanan selalu memiliki arti. Setiap halangan adalah pengokoh keteguhan diri. Setiap batu adalah pijakan menuju tempat yang lebih tinggi. Dan setiap batas hadir untuk dilintasi. Sejak BRI berdiri, menjadi kaki bagi orang-orang yang ingin menembus batas diri. Tak henti melampaui diri, dari dulu, kini dan nanti.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of the 6th International Symposium of Earth, Energy, Environmental Science, and Sustainable Development 2025. My name is Yanuariani from the Graduate School of Sustainable Development, Universitas Indonesia, and I will be your Master of Ceremony and also moderator for this webinar session. Today's discussion will focus on an essential theme, integrating socio-ecological conservation and behavioral communication approach for forest and land fire prevention. The symposium event is aimed to advance scientific knowledge and understanding of the theoretical, methodological, and practical aspects of environmental science and sustainable development, featuring world-class speakers and editors worldwide, such as from Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Uzbekistan, Russia, Malaysia, Japan, Kyrgyzstan, Taiwan, Australia, Ireland, Netherlands, Poland, Thailand, and Turkey, to enhance our knowledge exchange and learning from various backgrounds all around the world. This event is organized by the Journal of Environmental Science and Sustainable Development, Graduate School of Sustainable Development, Universitas Indonesia, and supported by April, PT Pertamina Persero, Bank Rakyat Indonesia, PT Carun Pokpan Indonesia Tbk, PT Pelayaran Tanjung Kumawa, PT Edukasi Teknologi Group, PT PLN Persero, PT Antam Tbk, PT Bumi Resources Mineral Tbk, and Dinas Lingkungan Hidup Provinsi Maluku Utara. Before we begin, please rise and listen to the national anthem of Republic of Indonesia, followed by hymn Universitas Indonesia performed by Paragita Universitas Indonesia. everyone. You may now be seated. We are now ready to begin today's professional talk session featuring three distinguished speakers. But before that, we will hear the hymn from Universitas Indonesia by Paragita.
Setia berjasa Universitas Indonesia, kami wargamu bertekad bersatu, kami amalkan di dharmamu dan mengabdi Tuhan dan mengabdi bangsa dan negara Indonesia.
Thank you for listening. Now, we are begin to this professional talk session featuring three distinguished speakers who will share their experience and insights on the integration of science, governance, and community engagement in fire prevention. We will have Ms. Priscilia Chika Alexandra, and then we will have Ms. Tricia Megawati Kusumadewi, and we will have Professor Dr. Kosuke Mizuno. So I would like to please our speaker to have a seat in the front. Have a seat. Thank you. So each speaker will deliver their presentation and then followed by a collective Q&A session and afterward. So we have our first speaker, Ms. Priscilia Chika Alexandra from the Graduate School of Sustainable Development Universitas Indonesia. She is a peatland consultant at Yayasan Konservasi Alam Nusantara or YKAN, specializing in peatland restoration and fire mitigation. With years of hands-on experience, she has contributed to restoration efforts across 7 priority provinces in Indonesia through her work with Indonesia's Peatland and Mangrove Restoration Agency or BRGM and the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Her work bridges science and action to strengthen Indonesia's resilience in peat restoration. So I would like to give Ms. Priscilia for her speech. The session is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yanu, and good morning, everyone. It's really an honor for me to share my research, and this is one of my research. And today I would like to present you about my study, and the title is The Recurrent Peat Fires in Indonesia, a Socio-Ecological Synthesis of Management Approaches. And my presentation will focus about understanding why the peat fires in Indonesia keep recurring, especially in Pulang Pisau district in Central Kalimantan, and what the recommendation to mitigate it. Okay, next. Okay, for the introductions, this research is motivated by the Indonesian ambitions as stated in document LTS LCCR 2050 to achieve the net zero emissions. And one of the key sectors is the forestry and other land use or FOLU sectors as a balancer from the other sectors due to the offsetting emissions because by 2030, the FOLU sector is expected to reach net sink conditions. It means the FOLU sectors will be absorbing more carbon than it emits. But however, the peatland fires is still the largest emission source within these sectors. So that's why the mitigating peatland fires is one of the essential things to do to achieving the FOLU net sink targets and to the net zero emissions target. But and despite of those efforts, the peatlands keep continuing every single year, especially in Pulang Pisau district in Central Kalimantan, and some of them are the recurrent peat fires. Next. Okay, this study was guided by two research questions. The first one, what is the spatial and land use distribution of the recurrent peat fires in Pulang Pisau district? And second, how do the social ecological framework integrated with mitigation concept to recurrent peat fires? And the aims is to answer the research questions, is to mapping and analyzing the spatial, and to develop an integrated mitigation concept to a social ecological lens. Next. Okay, to answer the research questions, this study uses two main methods. The first one is using the spatial analysis using the overlay method. And the spatial analysis is to identify and visualize the peatland areas to the recurrent fires in Pulang Pisau district. And the second one is the social ecological system, or the SACE framework, and it's developed by Ostrom in 2009, and it's to examine the interaction between the social and the ecological aspect. And the social aspect, it's including the government system, and then the users as the actors, and also the ecological aspect, including the resource system and the resource units. Next. And this research also requires the several types of data, the burn area, the land cover, the pit depth is obtained by the Ministry of the Environmental and Forestry. And for the actual role, the existing governance and the interactions, also the outcomes, it collected by the field survey. And for the informants, there were 36 people and from the fire aware community, and using the questionnaire, and I conduct a focus group discussion on last August with the provincial and district environmental services, and with the provincial and also the district Bapeda, with regional disaster management agency or BPBD, Pulang Pisau district, and also the representative of village government. Next. And we are moving on to the result and discussion for the first request questions. I started with the spatial analysis first, and I using the burn scar data to have the burn scar area map from 2015 until 2023, and the total is about 365,000 hectares were burned between the 2015 until 2023, and the largest burn area is occurred by the 2015, and it's about 216,000 hectares, and the smallest one in 2022, and because there's no fire was detected in Pulau Pisau district, and spatially we can see that the fire concentration is mostly distributed in southern and the eastern part of the study area. Next. And I do also the further analysis. I conduct the overlay method from the burn scar area data, and it was found that one times occurred across 235,000 hectares, which suggests that this event were incidental happened, and it may be driven by the extreme climatic conditions in several years. Meanwhile, the recurrent fires with frequency between twice until 4 times were recorded over about 63,000 hectares, and it identified on 41 villages, and it identified as the recurrent pit fires. Next. I also use the burn scar and the land cover, and I overlay it. From this analysis, it was found that the largest burn area is occurred in the swamp shrublands is about 204,000 hectares, and it was followed by the dryland agriculture and also the swamp areas. Next. Okay, this slide, I will explain the findings about the second research questions. It will discuss about the pit ecosystem and the recurrent pit fires as the ecological aspect, and also the actors and the governance as the social aspect. And it will followed by the outcomes. From the ecological side first, the peatland ecosystem in Pulang Pisau covers nearly 100,000 hectares, and it dominated by 3 until 5 meter thick pit depth. And peatland normally will function as the carbon sink and also the hydrological regulators, but it have disrupted by the drainage canal and also the land use changes. And when the pit dries out, even a small ignition source, it can be triggered a large-scale fire, and it means the hydrological conditions is very essential, and the hydrological especially in proximity to the canals is significantly determine the vulnerability of the peatland system. Next. Oh, sorry. Before, can we go back? Oh, sorry. Okay. To the next one, on the recurrent pit fires, the fires repeatedly occur in the same locations on 63 thousand hectares. Even though the vegetation shows normal regeneration, but it remains the flammable of the peatland ecosystem. And until now, there's no official loss valuation about the economics, the environmental, and also the social costs during to the recurring events based on the government official valuation until now. Next. And for the actors using, including the MPA groups, the government and NGOs, each stakeholder playing this thing about the complementary roles. The community is already understand the vulnerability of the peatlands, and I found also the local leaders have been active in patrols and in early prevention too. However, it still have challenges such as the idle land and then the limited resources and uneven the capacity development across the regions, and it will increase the risk of the pit fires. And then now for the governance aspect, the governance involves the multi-level coordinations, and starting from the local patrolling, regulation derived from the ministerial and the gubernatorial regulations, and the policies prohibit about the open burning and also the incorrect pit restorations, but the implementation remains heavily reliant on the external support, and the coordinations assisting is so informal. So it's not unstable coordination networks. So, next. So from this questionnaire and also from the focus group discussion, the study also made the interest influence metric for stakeholder mapping. I already separated to the 4 main groups, while the key players or the K1 is including the governor, the environmental services, the BPBD Kabupaten, and then the fire-aware community. They have the high influence and the high interest because they can coordinating, they can implementing the mitigation efforts, and the second K2 in subjects, they are highly interested, but they have the limited influence because they depend on the higher authorities for some resources to support all of the implementation mitigation efforts. And the contact centers in K3, they hold strong the influence, but they also only more strategic, maybe like policy directions and maybe the technical guidance. And for the crowd in K4, there is the landowner who tend to neglect the management of their land because they indirectly contribute to the risk of the recurring fires. Next. And finally, it's the outcomes. Regular coordination and joint monitoring still ongoing until now, especially in field hotspot validation and then the rainfall data monitoring, especially in dry season. It helped a lot about the fire, to anticipate the fire risk. And the community capacity has increased, so it is a positive change in community capacity to the emergence of the self-organizations that conducting the independent patrols and awareness campaigns in their kind of communication. And also the pit rewetting infrastructure has reduced the fire in several areas because it will rewetting some several areas in dry ecosystem, and the community has demonstrated increased awareness and participations, while ecologically fire frequency has decreased in several villages. However, it still has externalities, and it's about the transboundary haze, and it's still happening until now, and that transcends about the local administrative boundaries. And my recommendations separate to the two sides from the social and the ecological. From the ecological side, I recommend that water levels are have to maintain, because in long-term maintenance in a water level, it's necessary to sustain the improvement of the mitigation pit fires. And to the social side, I recommend to strengthen the community-based governments, especially to the MPA groups with the continuous training, maybe an incentive, while ensuring the pit fires in infrastructure is properly maintained, because both like on ecological and also the social part is crucial for the sustainable mitigations. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Thank you for the attention.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chika. I think that's so insightful to hear about the repeatedly occur in the same location, and also how you provide the outcome from the approach of social ecological framework, and then you with the recommendation to strengthen the community based government. Now let's continue with our second speaker. We have Ms. Trisia Megawati Kusuma Dewi from Department of Environmental Science, Graduate School of Sustainable Development, Universitas Indonesia. Ms. Trisia is a communication and environmental scholar with professional experience in sustainability, corporate communication, and public engagement. She has represented Indonesia at several CCC EOP conferences and specialized in environmental and behavioral communication for sustainability. So, Bu Trisia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think first speaker already present the ideas about the, what you call this, peatland. And I think my presentation now, some of them will relate to her research. And I do believe that my research will complement whatever the result from, what you call this, her research. Okay, I would like to talk about the evaluating field appeals in community-based forest fire prevention to support Indonesia climate goals. I would like to focus on more or less on the communication, environmental communication. Next. Ibu Priska already mentioned about the occurrence of the fire in the peatlands. And from my side, I would like to focus on the communication and how communication is very important on this research. Because despite of the Paris Agreement of, goals, to limit warning below 2 degrees Celsius, forest and land fires, fuel, climate change, and human activities remain still, major emitters. And each year, wildfires burn about 4% of Earth's surface. It is amazing. And the number, if we don't prevent it, from the fires, I think it will, add and grow and grow and grow. And in Indonesia, pit fires intensify by El Nino and land clearing caused severe losses. And on the 2015, fires burned almost 2.6 million hectares, cost us 16 billions USD, and affected 43 million people. These recurrent fires in Indonesia threaten, of course, the biodiversity and livelihoods, underscoring the urgency of the integrated prevention. So when we're talking about communication, I think the prevention is very important. Of course, it is also related to the restoration and conservation effort. If you see, this is the mapping of the wildfires around the globe. I got it from the Al Jazeera, and I think it just gives us an idea that the fires is not only in Indonesia, but I think it's across the globe. Next. This is just give you an understanding of the forest fire in Indonesia. When we are talking about global and national context, since Indonesia industrial revolution, I think greenhouse gas emission have surged, driving climate change. And I think global mean temperatures projected to rise between 1.5 until 4.5 degrees Celsius by 2100. And I think it is amazing. If we don't prevent it now, I think we cannot take care of the planets that we have only one planet at the moment. Indonesia also, concerned with this kind of situation, and Indonesia ranked among the world's most fire-prone in the region, in the world. And then the 2015, like I mentioned before, it's almost 2.6. And I think also on the 2019, it's also we have like a forest fire quite huge. And when you're talking about carbon emission, in this table, it gives you an idea that if you don't prevent it now, I think the achievement of the nationally determined contribution, we are not sure whether we can achieve it. Especially when you're talking also about the challenging on the target of the follow net sink, by 2030, aiming to achieve the decrease of the 140 million tons CO2 equivalent reduction. Next. With regards to the condition of the forest fire, like I mentioned to you, especially in Indonesia, when you're talking about socio-ecological problems in the pit landscape, the theme of the discussion this morning, I think it is very important that you are not only focusing on the physically aspect or physically impact, but also we are focusing on the communication and sociological approach, especially on the pitland. And when you're talking about forest fire, you're not talking about the cause of the fire, but you're talking about the situation, about the behavior, about the attitude, about the beliefs that we have to focus on. And so far, I think a lot of research are focusing on the I would say physically, but I think it's under study when you're talking about communication approach. Next. When you're talking about conservation perspective beyond firefightings, I do believe that conservation-based fire prevention integrates ecosystem integrity. So when you're talking about ecosystem integrity, you're not talking only about trees, but you're talking about the society. What values between and live in this society. And the biodiversity protection also is a concern. And pit restoration and the follow net sink 2030 also become a priorities. And I think when you're talking about forest fire, you're also talking about conservation and how you approach it. I think we have also to look into various aspects. Next. Why fires persist? And I do believe from the several journals I read, the human dimensions is one of the key aspects. Even our next speaker, the research mentioning human activities is one of the most important aspect that we have to take care of. 99% of fires caused by human activity. And when you're talking about in United States, it's almost 86% because of the human activities. And when you're talking also in Indonesia, there are almost 69% of the farmers, they're doing clear
land using by implementing slash and burn. And even on the regulation side, I think the government allow us to open the land by using fire as long as up to 2 hectares. So even though in other provinces, they also issuing like regulation that stopping from using the fires, but other provinces as well, they're also allowing to do this. So what I mean is the top-down campaign ignore cultural norms and economic constraints. And I think we have to focus also on that, on several research. And I do believe also that we need the participatory approach and culturally sensitive communication, and we have to develop this to overcome the forest fire. Next. When we are talking about theoretical foundation, what I did is how to integrate behavioral and socio-ecological frameworks. And I'm using, several theories to overcome and proposing the solution on this. First, I'm using EPPM, Extended Parallel Process Model, which is focusing on the threat and efficacy. And on this theory, we believe that we have to see on the perceived efficacy and threat efficacy, and how it is impact on the frontliners, especially on the farmers. And when you're talking about the EPPM, the fear, when you see at the moment, in Indonesia, I think the government of Indonesia already use fear appeal on their messaging. When you see on the billboard, when you see on the leaflet, on the brochure, the government of Indonesia mentioning that anyone who burn the forest, it will be punished, and it'll be fine. And I think it's already common on site. You find a lot of information about this, but it's until now I haven't found, even limited, I would believe, the research focusing to test, the messaging, how the message can be effectively delivered to the audiences. And this EPPM focusing on the threat and efficacy messages, and then how it will be resulted on the adaptive and maladaptive response on the audience. And the next one, it complemented with the TPB, the planned behavior theory, and TRA, the reason action theory. Because anyone who would like to do something, it has a motivation how they're doing it. So the theory, and examine how people or how audience perceive the messages and how they act upon on the messaging. So from the norms, attitude, and control action, focus on the follow-up intention and becoming the behavior change. On this research, I combine not only EPPN, TPB, and TRA, but also focusing on the SIT. SIT, I do two kind of approaches. The first one is the symbolic interaction theory. The second one is social interaction theory. We cannot avoid from those theories because both theories complement each other. When you're talking on the communication aspect, you're talking about symbolic interaction. The messaging complement the messaging, convey the perception of the audiences. So the concept of the socio-ecological system, it's also also study on this research just to confirm how the interaction, social interaction, and how the messaging influence each other. And if we see from the the background that I just mentioned before, the communication gap, that the traditional approach, which is what we are doing for prevent from the forest fire, it's like such as doing patrols, law enforcement, awareness campaign, it still have limited behavioral impact. So lack of the participatory communication and cultural approach on this context, I think we have to study and to focus on that. At the moment, a lot of study on the forest fire, focusing on the policy, focusing on the barriers with regards to the equipment of the fire prevention. But I think I do believe that this research will contribute, even though it is not perfect, but I think in terms of environmental communication, it can be one of the solutions to be considered. And then fear appeal messaging, like I mentioned, fear appeal implement so much on the health communication research. For example, like smoking cigarettes cause like cancer, blah blah blah. On the health research, a lot of researchers doing it. But I think on the forest fire, so far I couldn't find it. So I think this research, I do hope will contribute on that one. Next. Yeah, this is my research location on the Sri Gading village in the Ogan Komering Ilir, South Sumatra. And I do believe that this village illustrates a complex socio-ecological system because it is on the pit land with vulnerability, livelihood, and agriculture dependence. And it is quite interesting because Ogan Komering Ilir is one of the regency with the highest rank of the forest fire, and so Sumatra still lead, even though it is number 2, across Indonesia, but still what you call this as one of the provinces become as priorities for Indonesian government. Next. Yeah, this is what you call this Gading, Sri Gading. It's far away. It's on remote area, but it's quite interesting, and I think it can be challenging for all of you and for me, But it's quite interesting with the result. Thanks. Next. Yeah, my research focused on the DMPA. DMPA is Desa Makmur Peduli Api, which is managed by APP group, and we have like 500 across Indonesia, and now already implemented about 460 villages with this DMPA. And I would like to know, how this DMPA influence the farmers on the side, on the frontliners. And I'm focusing on the South Sumatra because it's one of the provinces with the highest rank of the forest fire. And then we have like 12 villages under the MPA on the Ogan Komering Ilir. And my research focused on the peatland area, so come up with the Sri Gading. Next. Yeah, this is my research design. I'm using quasi-experimental design involving 21 farmers and validated with EPPM, Maguire's persuasion stages, and Venus communication principles. Actually, my research using mixed method, but now I'm presenting my third and fourth, research objective using quantitative. So quasi-experimental design I'm using because I cannot do random purposes. That's why I'm using now true experimental design. So it's called it quasi-experimental. Next. Yeah, this is the statistical analysis, the key finding from the experimental design through quasi-experimental design. I'm using three groups. The first is using the strong fear appeal message, and the second group using weak fear appeal message, and the last one is a control group. And then the key finding, weak fear appeal, it's more effective on this forest and fire messaging. And then after I know that weak fear appeal is effective, I was continuing the research by using discriminant analysis to see or to make a environmental communication model called territorial map. So I'm developing a model to know the participation of the farmers, and the participation divided into three: high participation, medium, and low participation. And this model has a hit ratio about 95.2%, which is quite good, I would say, because it's it's 95.2% with the misclassified of the participation is only one subject research. And then after that, after I'm using discriminant analysis, I continue the research using B-plot analysis because I'm developing a communication model, environmental communication model. So I would like to know how to combine all the theories into the experimental. Next. Yeah, this is the model of the territorial map, which is you can see, from the 21 farmers, they allocated into high, medium, and low. So this model can be implemented to other DMPA's villages across Indonesia and could be implemented also to other villages, non-DMPA villages. Why? Because the model, it's tested already statistically and it's proven, with the hit ratio 95.2%. As long as qualified or fulfill three criteria. There are in the peatland area, on the prone zone area, extreme area, and the agroforestry. As long as fulfill these requirements, so this model can be implemented. And this is one of the solution that we would like to recommend to the government of Indonesia, that they can use this before they design communication strategy, before they are doing like a socialization, communication strategy for fire prevention. So they know exactly how to address the messages for the high participation of the farmer or low participation of the farmer. So we are not wasting our time by, like spending. And this is the B-plot analysis. You can see, what kind of factors that interfere on the weak fear appeal, why weak fear appeal effective. And I think it is also related to Miss Priscilla research before that spatial, the distance from the home to the farm, it's very important. Next. Yeah, this is the what you call this, the model, combining all the theories and the result of the experimental, that the EPPN proved from this research that perceived efficacy and threat efficacy, it is effective, and we have to look into those variables. And by knowing this, so before we are doing socialization or communication, we should consider that. So when we are conveying the message, it's not like boomerang effect or it resulted like avoidance result. And next. Yeah, I think this is my last presentation because I think the moderators already give me a sign, because I'm taking a lot of time. The last one I would like to say that preventing fire is not just technical. It is a social, ecological, and communicative transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tricia. This is so interesting to hear about the perspective of communication. And then also we hear that this research also related to Ms. Chika research in regard of reducing fire on the peatland. And you are more on the communication perspective with the farmer side, using fear appeal on a psychological approach. Okay, now we'll continue to the third speaker. We have our third speaker, Professor Dr. Kosuke Mizuno. I will read your bio first.
Yeah,
Young professor at the Graduate School of Sustainable Development, Universitas Indonesia, and also an emeritus professor at the Center of Southeast Asian Studies, Kyoto University. Professor Mizuno has spent decades studying Indonesia's rural economy, land entitlement systems, and socio-ecological transformations. His research connects environmental, social, and economic dynamics in community-based development. So, Professor Mizuno, this session is yours.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I want to next. I want to discuss on the peatland fire and the prevention. Next. We do study at the Bengkalis district. In 2008, I at that time, director of the research institute in Kyoto University, and we have a big project. And firstly, we want to implement the project at the Palembang, Nusa Utamushi Prusada. That is a joint venture with Japanese company and the Indonesian company. But we cannot implement because they don't like us. We want to do social economic study on the forest issue, deforestation, and so on. But incidentally, we are invited by Sinarmas. Yeah, Mr. Munoz, at that time the director as a CSR. So we try to do study in the forest area in collaboration with Sinarmas. And Sinarmas invited us to do study at the Giamsia Kuchil at the location. And we start the research at Bengkalis area, Giamsia Kuchil, and we are surprised. Beforehand, I have not known on the peatland also. I don't know the peatland fire, but once we start the study, so serious peatland fire, so serious issue. Next. So we start our project in 2009, and in 2010 we have made this kind of map. We made a scenario why so serious peatland fire. First, timber company belong to the Sinarmas make the HTI timber plantation. They have no intention to degrade the peatland, of course, but making the timber plantation made the peatland dry around the area. Within the HTI area, of course, the water is well controlled, but around the area, peatland become dry. That instigate the peatland fire. Nah, so beforehand, hutan rawa gambut, peatland, wet peatland forest exist, but because of peatland fire broke, community should prevent the fire, but community join to cultivate, or they cut the tree and they sold the tree, and land after the cutting the tree is distributed among the community, and they plant the oil palm, and also the land is kawasan hutan, so state forest, but Dinas Kehutanan Kabupaten Bengkalis has 20 staff. Also, the kawasan hutan at the Bengkalis district is so large. How to they control the fire? It's quite natural, but the land is kawasan hutan. So government who control the kawasan hutan should take responsibility on the fire actually, but they cannot do. Well, how they can do? Only 20 staff. Nah, so I think there is a mixture between the market failure, company get profit of course, but there are social costs. Peatland fire can be sold as social cost, but is at least firstly 2003, 2004, 2005, company could not manage well on the fire. And also, second is a community failure. That can be seen as a kind of that is state forest, but actually community can intervene the area, and that the area adjust to the community. So community should protect. For example, they know that deforestation, they demand the company to remedy the situation. But rather than demanding community cut the tree and they distribute the land. That is a condition as a second community failure. And third is government failure. That is state forest, but state cannot control the fire. So situation was so serious. But for example, 2010, MPR was built, and next, this is fire. Next, this is a person of Masar Pudri Api. Masar Pudri Api, especially since 2010, become active, and the company support the Masar Pudri Api. So this facility, many of such facility are supplied by the company, or some at the time of serious petroleum fire. Many people should be mobilized. So they need the salary, but company bear the salary partly also. So situation start change. Next, this is water bombing. Water bombing by company. Who can do water bombing except the company? Yeah. Sorry, water. This is water bombing. Yeah. Next. Now, this is start of our research. Now, we do household survey, and we have many discussion with local people, and we make the scat canal, simple scat canal that is quite a cheap one, only 7 million rupiah. We start make the scat canal that is a simple one, easily broken, but it's okay. We make again because that is cheap. Now, if we make the solid dam, that also will be broken, but because peatland is so vulnerable to the scat canal breaking also. So we plant the peatland, peat swamp forest original species of the tree, bintangor, jurutong, and so on. Now we start to plant, and now the tree is so tall. Next. Now, so rewetting, revegetation, revitalization of livelihood, that is Berge's policy, and we support. We agreed that Berge policy. Berge was set up in 2016. So we collaborate with Berge to restore the peatland, degraded peatland. And we think the 4R restoration of entitlement, such as land title or right to access the credit, right to access the water. Now, especially during the rainy season, water is so full. It's okay, no problem. But the dry season, no water. Underground water decrease until 1.5 meter. Now, so at that time, next. Yeah, this is we construct the scat canal for small dam in collaboration with the company during the dry season when the water level decrease. Company opened the gate and water is running there, so that even the dry season water level is not decreased until 1.5 meter. So ideally 0.4 meter. That is the policy of the government also, and that is as long as the land is wet, condition is kept. Condition to prevent the fire kept. Next. So we plant the in peatland peat swamp forest indigenous tree. We say we, but not only we, many people. Berge, of course, the University, WWF, also ASEAN, many scat canal built by ASEAN there because there is a sign. And of course, company collaborate with very many way. Next. So I think firstly, combination between the market failure, community failure, and government failure create the peatland degradation and peatland fire. But 2010, the RP was set up beforehand, there was already, but that was not effective. But since 2010, that effective. 2016, BRG was set up start the program of BRG. And also JICA project start in 2018. The collaboration with the company 2019. Of course, company intervene many parts such as supporting the BRG and so on. So company bears a social cost. And the community consciousness increase because there are many discussion, many program, and many opportunities that the community hears the importance of peatland degradation protection, or important to curb the fire, important so that peatland should be wet, and the government program. So community failure, market failure, community failure, government failure are remedied since 2010. So situation was improved. Next. So this is a graph that we make based on the interview to the local people. We check, we do interview with local people, and how many plots do you have, and what do you plant, what are on the title, and also we ask how when fire break at your parcel. And then they answer 2003, at 2013. 2013 was so serious at our village. On the other hand, and internationally, 2015 was so serious. But after 2015, maybe climate support, but not only climate, consciousness of the local people, support from the company, or the support from the government, and also many researchers join. We start research in 2009, but now we look for the paper in Google Scholar, peatland and Tanjung Tanjung is our research place. 200 paper are found on the Tanjung village. Yeah, so many paper. That means not only Kyoto University or Riga University, but also many people come to Tanjung village. And when to study, not only talk about not only do interview, but of course they talk about the peatland restoration, how important to curb the fire, and how to improve the situation like the wetting or jangan buang puntung rokok, like that one. Now next, next. Now this is the benefit of us that we have done the study there for a long time. So this is quite clearly. Do you understand the X is year, and the Y is the productivity. In 2010, this is left is oil palm. The highest is about 20,000, 20,000 20,000 20,000 kilo per year. But in 2017, 2019, highest is 7,000. Now, quite clearly, productivity increased. So we are surprised in 2010. Why so low the productivity? If we compare the national level data, productivity of oil palm in the Tanjung was so low, but that somewhat improved. That is clearly shown. Next. Now this is peatland and non-peatland. Now this is also this data also shows productivity increase. Now not only peatland but also non-peatland. Why? Non-peatland also increase because of the prevention of peatland fire. Peatland fire prevent not only peatland but also non-peatland. Peatland fire don't see what that is peatland or not peatland. Peatland fire prevents everywhere. So prevention of peatland fire increase the productivity of peatland, but also non-peatland, and also income increase quite clearly. Now, you can see precisely later. Next. This is rubber. Rubber also increase the productivity quite clearly. Highest is 2,000 kilo per year, but in the right side, 2017, there are many rubber, that productivity is more than 2,000, 5,000, sometimes 8,000. So clearly shown the improvement of the land productivity mean the improve them livelihood. So people understand the benefit of peatland fire prevention, and because they understand the benefit of peatland fire prevention, they join the program of peatland fire prevention. So this good cycle is created at our research site. Next. Yeah, this is also same story. But income of rubber does not increase because the rubber price was terrible during that time, decreased. But productivity increased. Yeah, next. Yeah, so conclusion is like that. Peatland really vulnerable to fire. Peatland broke because of the market failure, community failure, and government failure. But peatland can be controlled through the effort by local people, government, company, by remedy of these failure. The most important change that at the field was enhancement of the consciousness among people, because there are many interventions to the village. Tanjung is a famous village in the in the peatland control. So company also involved, and company is active, local community and government. That is a success story of, and the success story can be shown as the enhancement of land productivity. And we promote the planting of bintangor, jurutong, and meran tobacco, like peat with peat with peatland forest original species that are planted, but people or even now want to plant the oil palm, and that cannot be prevented. But anyway, with degrees of peatland fire, improve the situation. That so that they plant the oil, also they plant the oil palm, but the situation can be improved. Alongside they plant the peatland forest indigenous species such as bintangor. That we recommend and third party that is also successful. Yeah, yeah.
So the indigenous species release very effective to reduce the peatland.
Yeah, that is a
expansion.
peatland friendly species,
Species.
such as sago,
Sago,
pineapple, or aroe, and bintangor, jerutun, meranti bako. Those species can be grown at the wetland.
Okay.
So those growing those species mean the enlargement of the wetted peatland.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much for all the speakers for such enlightening presentation. So before we move into the questions, I would like to highlight the key points from the today's talks. So from Ms. Priscilla revealed how certain peatland areas repeatedly burn due to a mix of ecological fragility and social governance gaps, and highlighting the need to integrate community-based prevention strategies. While Ms. Tricia also showed that communication is just as crucial as conservation. Her research demonstrated how weak threat, fear, appeal message, when rooted in local culture and dialogue, significantly improve participation among farmers. And also, Prof. Mizuno emphasized that sustainable peatland restoration isn't just ecological, it must also restore community rights and livelihoods. The success of rewetting and revegetation relies on social participation and entitlement restoration, and emphasize indigenous species for the plantation. Now let's continue the conversation with our Q&A session. So my first question will be, I think I will first to Ms. Priscilla. So yeah, my question is just, your research focuses on recurrent fires, not just single events. Why is it important to make this distinction in peatland management?
Okay, thank you for the questions. Miss, there is a concept from the Page and Hoygiers on 2009. It explained that the single fire event is often incidental happened, and the trigger is from the short term of the factors, and one of the factors is the human activities, and but once the fire is occurs in one several area, the area will becomes more prone to the future fires. Why? Because the peatland that already burned, it's already been degraded. And when the pit degraded, the structure of the peatland, it will be changed, and it will lose the moistures, so it becomes hydrophobic, and it will dry somehow. And from the first fire, the vegetation is completely dry, and it will turn into a fuel to the next fire. So the next fire is not only in the surface happen, but also in the below ground. So it's so important to mapping where the recurrent fire is happen in one study area.
So I think that's an important point. Once an area burns,
yes,
it's not the same anymore, is
yes.
it? So yeah, the pit structure changes, it becomes drier.
Yes.
And even more flammable, is that what
yes,
you say?
exactly.
All right. So that's explain why fire management isn't just about extinguishing flames, right? But about restoring the land itself.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I move to Bu Tricia. Could you illuminate us? I mean, why did the study use peer appeal communication instead of other environmental communication approach?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Miss Yanu. I think this is what I've explained, on the presentation, that fear appeal, it's one of the strategy that used in communication. Usually it is not only fear, but sometimes we use also like reward or punishment, or like when you like one-sided, two-sided. I mean, it is about like the strategy in communication. And why I choose fear appeal, because when you're talking about like the impact of the topics or the impact of the problem, and it gives us like a fatality, that fear appeal, it's more effective than other appeals, what I would say. And it is proven on the health campaign message, on the health research. For example, like I'm mentioning about the like cigarettes, but even though the effectiveness of the fear appeal on the health, we can argue, some of them it's effective, but some of them I think it is not effective. But it depends. It depends on the situation, and it depends on the audience itself. But this forest and fire, I was curious, when I would like to do this research. Why? Because the Indonesian government already implement the fear appeal quite sometimes, quite long time ago. When you see the baliho, when you see like the billboard and everything, you find a lot of like threatened message. But I don't know if I made a mistake, but what I read from the journal, it's still understudied. So I'm interested to cover this because when you do the communication with the audience or with the farmers or with whoever, and when you socialize about the prevention program, like Mr. Mizuno mentioned, that prevention action is very important, right, Prof? So I think you cannot just like deliver a message, but you have to like somehow wrap the message according to the message. And I do believe that forest fire prevention, you have to taste it. Whether when you do have like a high threatened message, is it effective? Now you have to ask this question to yourself. That's why I'm testing this. And the finding is the weak fear appeal is more effective compared than strong fear appeal. So it means on the EPPM theory, you have to balance between the threat. In EPPM, we call it like perceived threat and perceived efficacy. When you're talking about perceived threat, you mean you're talking about the volume of the threatening message. When you're talking about the efficacy, you're talking about solution that you're giving to the audience. So you have to balance this. So I'm interested on this. Hopefully answer your question.
So to add that you're mentioning all about the EPPM. I mean, like so many
Theory.
abbreviations on your theory here. So could you explain more about how this theory explain a difference between adaptive and maladaptive response to threat-based message? Maybe you already explained, but maybe you can please do to explain more.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. I think why it is interesting, like you mentioned, because it's interconnected each other, EPPM is the extended parallel process model. So EPPM focusing on the fear research. So any research regarding fear, one of the theory used is EPPM. And the EPPM, you are measuring about the what you call this, the threat on on the audience, and the solution, we call it efficacy on the audience. So when you deliver a message, you have to make sure that between the threatening people, and the efficacy solution that you're giving to the people, it's balancing. So you're not threatening children. For example, you have a child, you're threatening your children, that if they don't study, you punish him or you punish her, but you have to encourage him, with the efficacy. Like, okay, you have to study. If you have a great, great, mommy will give you like, like handphone,
like incentive side of
like incentive, like, you're talking about like reward and punishment. So when you're delivering a message, you should also consider that.
Okay, thank you. Now we move to Prof. Mizuno. So based on your experience, how do the 4R principles, like rewetting, rehabilitation, and or restoration of entitlements, strengthen long-term peatland sustainability?
Yeah, yeah, 3R is the principle that very creative and
Rewetting, repetition.
we support. And yeah, yeah, it's okay from long term also. Why that revitalization of livelihood is important because people get the profit from plant revegetation.
Yeah.
People continue to do the revegetation on the rewetted peatland. So Key to control the peatland fire is of course water. So rewetting is essential for the peatland restoration. But if only rewetting and nobody care, that will degrade again. So that should be covered by the vegetation. But covering the vegetation should be supported by local people. In order to promote the community-based peatland restoration, the 3R, the livelihood of revitalization of livelihood. That is essential.
Yeah.
And of course, we add the fourth R, the restoration of
Yeah.
the entitlement. That is important because we can find there many problems there. So around the title also with water or credit and so on. So those social issues are also accompanied with peatland degradation. So while we improve the peatland condition, we improve the condition of the people also from the social side, such as land title or access to the water, credit, and or access to commodity, suitable commodity, they should, so for example, they should get the proved species of the oil palm, but oil, seed of oil palm that they get is all many part is many species is the parcel cheated for.
So it's like a comprehensive approach for the based on the community. But can this replicate to other places? This method. I mean, like this is your research is on the right.
Today,
Then we can we replicate on, for example, like in Kalimantan or
of
any
course,
other area?
of course. That is the 3R or 4R is principle that we can follow as a place also. Maybe 4R become kind of indicator to check the improvement of peatland conservation. So today's my discussion concentrated on one village, but
Yes, yes.
of course I
Of
don't
course, yes,
study
sure.
at a village also.
Okay.
Today I don't mention it.
So yeah, I think I have to because of the time. I
Yeah.
think one more question. Can we? So just for all of you, I think can you give us a short answer for related to your research to the follow net sink 2030 and net zero emission 2060 goals in one sentence each? What do you believe is the most crucial step to align community action with these national targets? Probably from Miss Priska.
Okay. Maybe I think that the follow sector is a special sectors. Why? Because the follow sectors will get the minimize the emissions during the follow net sinks conditions. So it means the follow, especially in the peatland, can more absorb the carbon than it emits. So I think the mitigations is not only about the preventing fires, but also about the restoring the peatland ecosystem itself. So it will functioning again to absorb the carbon. And through the activities of restorations, maybe like canal blocking, rewetting, and etc. that Prof. Mizuno mentioned it before in his presentations. I think it also improving the carbon absorptions, so we can achieve the kind of targets in follow and also the net zero emissions. Maybe that's my opinion. Maybe Miss Tricia and also Miss.
Yeah, please do the maybe one
okay.
sentence only. What do you believe in the most crucial stage?
Yes. I think, Indonesia has a target on NDC, nationally determined contribution, which is, I believe, it's very ambitious, 41% unconditionally. And with our own effort is 38 percent, some blah blah blah, 38.89 I forgot, but I think it is very ambitious. And now move to the second NDC, which is already submitted to the UNFCCC, and now will be discussed on the COP30 in Belém, Brazil. And I do believe, to achieve this follow net sink targets and Indonesia nationally determined contribution, one of the most important thing is fire prevention. Because when you have a fire, you cannot achieve that. You cannot achieve FOLU, you cannot achieve NDC, you cannot achieve both. So I think when you see, is it important, because Indonesia, the fires area, it's declining, right?
Yeah.
Like 2.6 million and then declining until
now. Mentioned before.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's declining. But you cannot just take it for granted, because when you don't do anything, for example, communicating with the farmers or doing like intervening for the reoccurrence of the forest fire on the peatland, I think the fire will happen again. So what I do believe is fire prevention is the most critical.
Okay. Yeah. Prof. Mizuno?
There are so many topics that we should pay attention, but I want to pick up the issue of the title. I found that most of peatland are located at the Kawasan Hutan State Forest. According to the Act of Forestry 1999, people who use the area of Kawasan Hutan should get the permit from the government. But nobody got the permit except the company. Company got the permit. But local people who stay there have stayed there for a long time. but nobody. So there is a overlapping of land title between the state and the local people. That is crucial potential issue. So we should pay attention that issue, and that is found everywhere in Indonesia or peatland. So we pick. I or my group pick up that issue and do study historically also. Okay.
Thank you so much for those thoughtful answer and discussion. To summarize today key insights, so first, maybe I would like to say that Ms. Priscilia demonstrated the data-driven socio-ecological collaboration can break the recurring fire cycle. And then from Ms. Tricia showed that effective environmental communication is not about fear, it's about empowerment through understanding and shared values. And also the last from Prof. Mizuno reminded us that sustainability begins with restoring both land and people's right. So together, the research paints a hopeful picture that science, communication, and communication action, when integrated, can move Indonesia closer to its climate goals. We truly appreciate your contribution and the valuable knowledge shared today. So we would like to push you to get back a bit. And maybe before that, can you give us a big applause for the speakers? Thank you so much. So please have a seat. We will continue with the hour. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you, Prof. Can you please have a seat? I will continue with the. We will now continue the awarding session. On behalf of the 6th International Symposium 2025, I'm pleased to announce the winners for the Best Paper and Best Presenter announcement. So we will wait for the screen to be ready. Okay. For the best paper, before that, we would like to talk about the assessment paper. Yeah, there are 3 categories of best presenter and best paper for the environmental science category and sustainable development. Best presenter third, based on the session and admin chair suggestion, and editorial board judgment with ranking assessment. The second, based on the first session and admin chair suggestion is scoring, quality of the user paper and quality of the substance of the reviewer, editorial board judgment with ranking. Now we move to the best paper for the category environmental science. The winners goes to the Biodiversity Credit Opportunities and Challenge for Indonesia by Ani Nadia Putri from IPB University. And then second one we have Natural Research Recreational Potential of Mountain Lakes of the East Republic Tourist Preference Groups and Management Issues by Dai Han Ethol from Filipina. And also the third we have Preserving Island Landscape Soundscape that used as a strategy for expanding SDGs in narrow Tangkap UNESCO Global Geopark by Eli Janila. So for best paper and category sustainability development, we have first winner goes to Indigenous Policy College in Thematic Forest Governance of Yogyakarta by Amelia Puspita Ethol from UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. And then we have alternative facing balancing for swamp irrigation wall as a pathway to achieve agriculture by Rizky Mulyono from Universitas Indonesia. And then we have knowledge systems and behaviors of household pharmaceutical skills and total amount of Indonesia by Amelia Ethol from And for the presenter category environmental science, the winners goes to Benefits of Sorghum Bicolor L agroforestry crops for climate change mitigation and carbon sequestration in arid regions of Sukadana Village, Central Lombok, Indonesia by Wibowo Andri from Universitas Indonesia. The second we have Ujang Sudiartono but with eco hydrology in realizing sustainable groundwater management from Universitas Negeri Padang. And the third we have Widi Handayani from Pranoto Sugi Pranata Catholic University with the effectiveness of natural dye batik wastewater treatment by a combination of acidification, coagulation, flocculation, and absorption. And now for the category best presenter sustainable development, the winners goes to Angelica Riandari from Universitas Katolik Sugiartanata with integrating policy, community, and knowledge system to sustain Isumba urban growth heritage. For the second one, we have James Philip from University Technology Unilever with cost-benefit analysis of building retrofitting with thermal insulation and air. And the third winner, we have Reggie Lauren from the State College. It's the definition of participating in livelihood strategy among coconut-based farmers in Thank you. So that's all the congratulations for all the winners. All right. So let me check with the awarding session. We would like to congratulate to the winners and all participants for all excellent research and dedication for sustainability. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the 6th International Symposium of Earth, Energy, Environmental Science, and Sustainable Development 2025. Once again, this event is organized by the Journal of Environmental Science and Sustainable Development, Graduate School of Sustainable Development, Universitas Indonesia, with supports from April, PT Pertamina Persero, Bank Rakyat Indonesia, PT Carun Pokpan Indonesia Tbk, PT Pelayaran Tanjung Humawa, PT Edukasi Teknologi Group, PT PLN Persero, PT Antam Tbk, PT Bumi Resources Mineral Tbk, and the last Dinas Lingkungan Hidup Provinsi Maluku Utara. We have today's discussion inspire continued collaboration and innovation for a more sustainable future. Thank you very much and see you at our next event. Thank you very much. So for the adding information, the research assistant announcements will be emailed on 11 and 12 November 2025. So please check your email for the psychological assessment schedule if you have passed the previous stage. So that's for us now, and I would like to close this event. Thank you very much.